What's up? I'm Nate G219 and this is To Help It Back and Better. You know what it is, another one coming at y'all. First, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that channel if you want to help out. Today is January 24th and it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, if you're interested. But that's the irrelevance for today. You know I gotta bring that bullcrap at you. I'm trying to watch my language, trying to be better with my language because, you know, I've got kids and I also want to become monetized at some point. And I don't want to be getting strikes for nothing. And, but today I'm bringing a reaction to a story that I actually have, I've done a story on this in the past, but I'm going to do a reaction on it because unfortunately we've still got two women missing. One of them is a girl, a 13-year-old girl who was last seen August 11th. Her name is Ja'Niyah McMichael. And there's been updates that she had been found, and I just watched something, and according to her aunt, she had not been found. She is still not located. The person was either making a clout chase video or it was a different person. Because the person in the photo looked like a high school graduate. And this was a 13-year-old girl that was missing. And again, last seen August 11th. But the video I've got, I haven't been able to find many news articles or anything about Miss McMichael, which is very unfortunate because she's an adorable young girl and it's such a sad situation. Now, a lot of people have heard of Gary, Indiana. They've heard of the past. They've heard of it being the murder capital of the United States and yada yada this and woo that. Like, yeah, it was that. It was not a safe place to be, but at one point in time, it was the place to be. It was a booming, thriving community, and during the steel mill crash, if it was the 80s, the late 70s, early 80s, I don't know, maybe before that, if you watch the history of Gary, it'll tell you. But Gary was a thriving community. And because of Gary, Indiana, and the city it brought, and the money it brought with the steel mills, it brought a lot of other communities, including the community I live in, Portage, Indiana, South Haven, and there was communities built because entire lives built because of Gary, Indiana. Gary was that big and popular and great of a place. But during the great steel mill crash and, you know, everybody buying foreign steel and, you know, I was too young to really remember the details. And I could have brushed up on my history lesson, but that's not what this video is about. This reaction is about something completely different. But during that crash, Gary became a place not to go to. Not for anybody to go to. You could get the addicted to drugs. You can get the big R. You could just get anything that happened on Skid Row happened in Gary, Indiana as well. It just snows here. And, you know, I hear these stories now, yeah, right now, the world's a different place, and California's like the stories you hear about people defecating on the streets and stuff like that's unheard of. If you did that in Gary, chances are you're gonna get shot point blank. They're just gonna unalive you, and most of the cops don't even give a damn. Like, it's like, you know, one less problem on the street. But let's get into today's reaction. This is Emma Baum. She was last seen October 10th. She was pregnant and getting close to popping. I mean, her baby was due in December, if I'm not mistaken. But she was... See, I had heard reports she'd been seen before. I'm just going off this video. Alright, let's react to this video.
As we know, Emma Baum is 9 months pregnant and she disappeared.
I'm sorry, I couldn't find a better video recent with... I'm sorry I couldn't get a better video.
From her home. She went to apparently visit the boyfriend and has never been seen since. Family are questioning what exactly happened when she went to visit him. Now, the boyfriend, Antoine Butler, his ex-girlfriend, speaks out verbally here, and she tells you what her situation was like and how she managed to escape. The same boyfriend that was with Emma Baum and the last person to see her.
Briefly, I was in a relationship with Antoine Butler, and he was extremely abusive towards me. He choked me, slapped.
Sorry, and I'm not speaking in... Okay, yeah, I am. As a former gang member, and the opposition of what this chump is, man, it's just a disgusting... He's so happy to be throwing up gang signs, and he's just a worldwide piece of shit. Like, there's nothing to be said other than the dude's a piece of shit. So, just the young white woman being with this man is going to be worrisome for the family from the get-go, especially if they see any of these damn pictures. Great, my daughter's with the gangbanger, and that's not a racial thing. If my daughter was with a white man and he was throwing up any gang sign whatsoever, I don't care if it was the Vice Lords, the Latin Kings, the Gangster Disciples, the Aryan Brotherhood, I don't give a damn what it is. I don't want my daughter around that. Period. So, I'm not judging at all. And, okay, I also want to add, I do know her mother. I did go to school with her. Now, we're not great friends. We're acquaintances. We've met. And that's that. Like, her mother is a great person. And unfortunately, a lot of us got caught up in drugs. Heroin and cocaine filled this area between Chicago to Chesterton, Indiana, Michigan City, Indiana. Crack cocaine and heroin filled the streets. And this was long before the nationwide epidemic with heroin and fentanyl was happening. We've been losing people to fentanyl as long as we can remember. Myself and Miss Emma Baum's mother, as far as we can remember, we'd known somebody to lose their lives to the epidemic of fentanyl, heroin, whatever you want to call it. Now, I've met people that have been doing heroin for 40, 50 years. I'm talking old school people. Ray Charles, he was a very, very, very heavy heroin addict at one point in time. He was blind, and the man still used a needle. Which blows my mind, because a lot of reasons. But see, there goes my ADD again. That has nothing to do with nothing. You know, a lot of us have been caught up in lives, or had been caught up in lives that we aren't happy with. And unfortunately, our children have, instead of listening to us, followed us, which is much more likely. So grateful, my son. Man, Miles, what a good kid. He did not follow my footsteps, and that's because when I went to prison, people stepped in that knew they messed up with me. Okay, my parents had taken custody of my son. They knew they messed up with me, so they did it a little different. I know that's messed up to say, but it is what it is. And I'm very, very, very grateful for what that man has become. 21 years old, and he's gone further in life than I could have ever imagined for him to go. I mean, I'm just saying, the kid's doing the damn thing. Alright, let's get back into this.
Me, punched me, kicked me, basically beat me up any kind of way that he could. He beat me in front of people. He beat me outside on 5th Avenue, up and down the street. It was very, very public. Everybody knew.
Alright, I want to say something about 5th Avenue. Gary is a very large area. It's got 9 or 10 different zip codes, maybe 9. That large of a place. 5th Avenue, depending on which part, and I believe this was the east side. I can't picture exactly where, but, areas are referred to as bottom side, Gutterville, crap like that. And it's just hell. It's like a very, very wide stretch east and west, but going north, it's only 5 blocks, and it's 5 blocks of hell, and it's the bottom side of Gary. Now, if you get far out west, it's becoming nice again. There's more diversity in that area. Not so much violence, but you get over there, 5th Avenue, where everybody is, and I'm telling you, you go north of it, you go north of 5th Avenue, a majority of the houses are abandoned. It's just run down. But you go south of 5th Avenue, you've got people everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. And people do live north of 5th Avenue, but a majority of the houses, not the apartments along 5th Avenue, 4th and 5th Avenue actually are one road. It's just one goes west, one goes east. 4th goes west, 5th goes east. It's also known as Route 20. 20 goes all across the nation. Going north of that and into the houses, be prepared to meet hell.
This was happening to me. It was the darkest time of my life. I ended up becoming pregnant by him with a girl, and when I was 6 months pregnant with her, he suspected that I was trying to move away to Lafayette and decided that he was going to torture me for 4 to 6 hours straight. It started approximately around, I want to say like midnight, and then it ended at around 8 a.m., 9 a.m. He was hitting me, punching me, kicking me, dragging me all around when we lived on Rhode Island. We used to live on, I think, 8th and Rhode Island.
8th and Rhode Island, that is the east side of Gary. It's divided. Broadway's the divider. East of Broadway, you got the state streets. West of Broadway, you got the president streets. Buchanan, Grant, all that. East, Rhode Island's one of them. Tennessee, all of them. So that's how it's divided. It's set up just like a grid. North and south streets and east and west streets. The east and west streets are numbers, and the north and south streets are the either presidents or the state streets. So just to give you a little rundown.
Over by the Sharks and Gary. Anyway, he was beating me up.
Man, Sharks was a hell of a place, man. Their food was so damn good.
So bad that I got really dirty on the floor, and he ended up throwing me into a tub and turning on the cold water, and when I screamed from it being freezing cold, he flipped it to burning hot and kept throwing me back into the tub every time I would try to get out. Every time I would try to reach for the door, like once I could crawl to the door and try to escape, he would punch me in my head. I started screaming for God to save my baby and to help me, and that would trigger him every time, and he would end up beating me worse. Finally, he got tired, and he ended up going to the room to do something, and I was able to get away. When I got away, I was barefoot. I didn't have on a shirt. I ran to the PLS that was on Broadway, and called my grandfather from there, and he could barely understand me on the phone. When my grandfather picked me up, he was in tears because of the way that I looked. I was black and blue from head to toe.
I'm damn near sick to my stomach. I'm not damn near. I am sick to my stomach. This piece of crap. Unfortunately, if he does go to prison, if he's not unalived, if he hasn't unalived himself with man, it's the only sensible thing to do. You are a creature that should not exist. I hope you see my video. I'm Nate G219. Shoot me a DM. Nate G _219 on Instagram. You're a chump, you're a pussy. I won't even call the police. Turn me back to the old me, like, real quick. You're the type of piece of crap that should have been swallowed. Should have been left on the bed sheet. And who the hell is your parents? Where the hell are your parents? Just raised a straight scumbag. They didn't raise nobody. They probably weren't there, which is unfortunate, but even as a human being, to morally be able to do some things like this to anybody, let alone a pregnant woman, it's disgusting. You're a disgusting scumbag. I'm not going to come see me.
So, that is just briefly some of the things that I endured. Other times, there were times where he held a knife to my throat, where he choked me out to where I passed out. There was a lot of instances of abuse. This person is extremely violent. My heart goes out to Emma and her family, and I pray to God that they find her. I just needed to get my story out so that everyone would know publicly that this person is extremely violent. And I know all of his family, I know all of his friends, they all know me. I moved away and I cut ties with everybody and everything from there because I was so afraid of this person. God help Emma, and God help her and her baby come home. And that's all I have to say.
So, that was one of that douchebag's baby mamas that had spoken out. And I didn't catch your name. I'm so bad with the ADD. Had I watched this prior to reacting to it, I might have caught your name, but I like that real raw reaction, so I'm going to go back and try to find your name, if you've even released your name. If not, please hit me up on Instagram, Nate G _219. And for that chump-ass dude, I didn't catch his name either, which I am going to post it in the description once I find it, but I didn't catch it in the video because I was so astounded by what I was hearing, regardless of what affiliation he is. And unfortunately, I know people are not going to like to hear this, but unfortunately, when he goes to prison, because of his affiliation, He's part of a very large organization. Now, in the scheme of things, in the state of Indiana, Gangster Disciples do run the majority, and they have the numbers. Now, Vice Lords, the People's Nation, they have a lot of numbers too. I mean, there's a lot of people that ride under the same thing that Vice Lord does, which is a 5-pointed star. I'm talking Latin Kings, Vice Lords, and, many other things. 2-1 Fatals, like that Nightmare story I told you about, that Jeff Fugate. They got chumps running with them too. I mean, but so do Gangster Disciples. I mean, know a lot of chumps that are Gangster Disciples. But unfortunately, he's going to be respected in prison. Regardless of the outcome of the case, and I'm praying for the best. I am praying for the best. For Emma, her mother, her whole family, I'm praying for the best. But this dude's a scumbag, and he's going to prison for something. Unfortunately, he's going to be respected. He's not going to get that treatment that everybody hears that people that do things like this to women and children get. Unfortunately, a majority of the time, it's only the white guys that get that treatment. And that's because they're not a part of an organization. And that's because the white organizations don't allow anything like that. Anything like that, that's a SOS. Smash on site. I don't care. Now, if it's an affiliated black guy, an affiliated white guy can't just smash on sight, because that's going to create a whole race war. But I really hate this. And yeah, chump, I didn't catch your name because your name's pointless. But Nate G _219, come see me. But hey, never forget life's choices. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help out. And hey, if they ain't hating it, you ain't making it. Peace.